Mama over there looking like a gangster though, with a hat on and smoking
Hey,
her
I'm
cigar.
cold. It's cold out here.
It's
My
cold.
favorite glasses.
I'm cold. Yeah.
Well, look, hold up. There we go. Let me open the screen up. So we live?
Yes.
So you guys, I have the honor. Well, really, Lena's been knowing this woman way longer than I have known Mama Starr. But Mama Starr has been a mentor to both of us. She's an amazing woman. I know you guys, a lot of you already know of her, you know about her. She has been a root worker for Lord have mercy since she was what, 2 years old? Mama came out the womb working roots. She is. A lot of y'all have taken classes with her. She still has her. Is it the Conjure Academy, Mama? What you call it?
Yeah, it is the CONJURE Academy.
She has the Conjure Academy. She has oldstyleconjure.com. She has Mama Star's LL. What is it? LLC.
Style.
Mama Star Style. She's written, Lord have mercy. Y'all know I'm exaggerating, but I swear to God, 1,500 books, and she still got more books coming in. And I am so proud to even call her this because I'm trying not to even get choked up. But we got Mambo Mama Starr. So I'm so proud. I'm so proud of you
Thank
because
you,
it's not.
sister.
Yes. Congratulations.
Yes,
Thank
you've
you.
accomplished so much, and even by anybody who understands initiations understands that it's hard. It's
Whew.
hard to go through these things to get to that level. And this woman really has. I admire. I mean, I can talk. I can gush on her all night long because I love her. We call her Mama. We call her Mama. So introducing Mama Starr, Mambo Mama Starr, to the Conjure crew. I
Hey,
feel like we should have a glass of champagne and toast and stuff now, right?
I can't. I'm on my
Oh,
tablet. I
oh,
can't have
that's right. That's right.
some sweet tea.
Well, you know what? Sweet tea is good because I forgot about your taboos, but that's good that you're on it. That
Yeah,
really is.
I got my taboos. I got to follow them because Lord knows I don't want to do that over again.
No, because you will.
Woo.
If you don't get them taboos right, you will have to do it over.
No, that was a trick. I'm not doing it again.
I
Uh,
don't blame you. I 100% don't blame you, but I'm so proud of you. I
thank you.
really am because I know that you study for a long time and you put a lot of energy into it. Anybody who knows Mama Starr knows she don't have to ask anything.
Nothing.
No.
Really nothing. Her prayers, the way she works her products, everything is always done from start to finish with focus, with prayer, with intention. Even creating things. And she comes up with 50 million ideas, you guys. Y'all haven't even seen what all this woman can bring out of it. So if you haven't checked out the new store and you live in Houston, please check it out. If you are online, please go to oldstyleconjure.com. She has products and things on there. Um, there's so many different ways that you can connect with her through her Conjure Academy. A lot of you know that she's teaching a lot of classes on the Occult Master with TJ and Amanda. Mama, what's the new class you have coming up? Don't you have a class coming up?
I do, but I don't remember what it was. I meant what it is.
It's not the Hexen class, is it?
Oh no. I think it is. I don't remember, sister.
I don't. You know what? I'm gonna try to pull it up while you're
Yeah,
talking.
because I really don't remember. I feel like I'm sitting in the dark. Can y'all see me?
You look gangster and mysterious, so it's working for you. It's working for you.
I thought I
Now,
better put a hat on because it's kind of chilly out here.
well, shoot, is that especially because you're closer to the water too. So, you guys, if you have any questions, take advantage of it because we got it for a little bit. Now, Mama, you just opened a new store,
Yes, in
Mama Start
Houston.
Style.
Yes.
It's in Houston. So, tell us a little bit about why you wanted to open the store in Houston. Tell us a little bit about the store. Give us some insight.
Okay, so I decided 2 weeks before my first initiation that I wanted to open up my own spot, that I wanted to make it a special place where folks could come. We have a table and chairs in there where folks could come. They don't have to buy anything. They can just hang out. They can ask questions. They can just talk. Make it a community place. Um, because I think that is missing. You know,
Mm-hmm.
folks just need an ear to listen to. Somebody to listen to them and to care, and especially in this day and time, because there's so much going on. You know, so
Mm.
many have issues. There's so much, and that was really my reasoning for opening up that store. I don't do anything that's not spirit led ever, because when I first started out in my 20s, working for the public and everything, I learned that if you try to do something that goes against spirit, it's going to end up biting you in the ass. Oh, I hope I can say that.
Oh, we say way worse than that.
You
Okay.
know we talk worse than that, Mama.
So I just, and the store is not just a conjure store. Yes, it has conjure stuff in it, but I want it to be a all around store. I want to put other folks' stuff in there, their artwork, uh, whatever they're making that they're trying to uh, put themselves out there. That's my goal. That is my goal. I have some artwork that's coming, we're going to put it in there. And I just want to support the community because this work really is all about the community that you live in. And I've been doing this a long time here, and y'all both been here. I have people that come here that's been coming here for 30 or 40 years. You know, that's my job. That's what I do is to take care of my community, whether they have money or not. Sometimes folks have it confused. It's not always about the dollar, at least not for me. That's not the way I was taught. You know, I've worked for folks that didn't have nothing but a damn candle and they paid me with that candle. Hey, it's a payment. Something is given, you know. So I want the store to be that kind of place, where folks can come, feel at home, not be judged, not have to worry, it's gonna be a safe place.
You really did a good job with it because of course I was there for the grand opening and it was really, really warm. And a lot of people that were walking in off the street felt like they were comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have, it wasn't like a typical occult store where you have people that kind of come in and they're like, oh, okay, I don't know if I want to be a part of this. It literally had a little bit of everybody walking in. Oh, I need sage. Oh, I need this, or I need candles. So I think you did a good job with the setup. And I really feel like you hit it on the head when you talk about people needing a safe place where they have tribes where they can go in and say, this is what I do. Hey, lady,
Hey,
this is what I do. So I think you really set it up really nice because I still feel like there's growth that's going to come in for it just because of
Oh
the
yeah, we're
community.
gonna have other folks' products in there with their own labels on there. This is not all about me, and it has never been all about me ever since I started at 17 years old, learning how to do cleansings on my child. God gave me a gift. My gift is to share with the people, whether you have a dollar or you don't have a dollar.
I
You know,
think it's safe to say your two best payments were probably Houdini and Juju.
yes. And my poor Houdini, I miss that rooster so bad. Juju is the little Shih Tzu, black and white. Juju is, I think I got Juju in 2005 or 2006, someone came to me and they needed some serious work done, um, dealing with their children, and they didn't have any money, but they raised these little dogs. And so I took Juju at 6 weeks old for payment for the work. And then Houdini, same thing. Someone from here came to me and needed some help, didn't have a lot of money, they were struggling, and so I got a damn rooster for payment, who turned out to be the most caring, loving rooster that's possible that you could have.
Houdini was a pimp.
He was.
He was
He
a
was.
pimp.
He
Houdini had
was.
them chickens and hens, whatever that they was following him like he walked on water.
Yep.
He was a pimp rooster.
And
Oh my
old
god.
son, his kid is getting into it, you know. But Houdini was special, and I don't think that there are many like him. He would move rocks around in front of the door going outside when things were going on, and he'd get on top of the house and scratch the roof and crow. He was special. He
I,
was a
re-
spirit.
I remember him getting up on your back and giving
Yeah.
you a cleanse, and then you were like, "What the hell?"
Yes, I thought he was trying to spur me, but what he was doing was flying up on my back, flapping his wings, and I realized that he was giving me a cleansing. That's the truth.
Oh my god. I would have passed out. I'm not gonna lie. Me as the
Girl,
bird. I would have been running. I would have been one of those people running from the killer roosters and thinking, like, it's after me. every time I went over there, I never turned my back to him. Never.
and
Because she told me that story.
sister, you were here for classes, y'all. I would give classes on the breezeway, and there would be 10, 15 people out here. He would come and stand by the door and listen to what was going on. He would just watch. He was very, very special. I miss him so much.
Oh my goodness. I
Oh,
remember questions. Hold up. Let's see.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
Aisha 126 wants to know, can you talk about when you would use nails versus pens
nails versus pens,
for
as
work?
in for work, as in, are we talking about writing or putting it in something?
She says about work.
So, about any type of work. Okay, so they both basically do the same thing, but as we know, nails are working to nail things down. So, if I'm doing a work for someone and I'm trying to nail something down for them, then I will use nails. If it's like let's say I'm pinning a photo on something, on a dollar, anything, I'm going to use uh, needles or pins with the heads on them, and then you take it and you run it through and then you cross it. That also nails something down. So they are both the same. If you're trying to lock something down, then I was taught to work with safety pins
Mm,
because you literally lock the safety
Yeah.
pin. It's locked.
mhm.
Is
Yeah,
that what she was asking?
I think so.
Yeah, she said both. And they said that your class is understanding tricks, hexes, and curses.
Okay, that's what it is.
When is it
Because
happening?
a lot of times we feel like we're being thrown at when we're not, you know? And
Mm-hmm.
so you need to learn your spirit, how your spirit acts when you're around certain people. What changes when you have upset? What was going on before that upset started? You know, how long does your upset last? What is going on? These are things that you need to understand um, about yourself. And so it's going to be a good class. I
It's
really
on
won't go into details.
it's on November 29th, you guys.
Mhm.
Um,
Good.
at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern, and it's on the Occult Masterclass.
That's on a Sunday.
Yeah, after Thanksgiving.
Okay.
I knew it was after Thanksgiving. I didn't remember.
And I was reading on your website too that you're going to be teaching classes at your store next year.
I am. And I'm going to be teaching hands-on classes. Like when people come here, we're going
Yes.
to literally I'm going to teach the way I was taught.
Mhm.
You know, folks talk a lot of bullshit about me, but you can't take away from me my learning. You can't take away from me what my elders have taught me. You can say a lot of things, but my work speaks for my learning. My work speaks for my community. You see, I've got the same people that keep coming back here over and over again when they need something. And that's where every worker should start doing work is in their own community. And I have took care of my community.
I agree. And I've been there. You're right. You'll have the same people that pop over, call you. But that goes to show you, especially with everything in the community right now, when people are looking for something that is real, you have to pay attention to people's track record and people that continue to work with certain people. If they're not reputable, people will not go back. They will not talk about them. They will not work with them. So you have to, that's one way to know a true worker. Somebody that is, they know what they're doing.
And I'm not boasting, I'm just saying the facts. I've been doing this professionally since I was 25 years old. I still remember the very first job that I ever did for somebody. I charged them $25, $5 for the reading, $20 for the work. And it was to get a guy that she was living with to marry her. And I was honest about it. And like I told her, when you have to work for something that hard, it's probably not going to last. But she married him. And it lasted for about 5 years. I still remember that because it was such a big step in my life, doing something for someone else. And back then, $25 was a lot of money. I could buy a week's groceries with $25, you know?
I could not imagine. I would like to be able to buy a week's groceries for $25.
You and me both.
I'm like, yes, living it up.
You
So,
know?
Times have changed, but she is right back then. And I've heard her tell this story before. That's how she would end up getting people dropping off food and things like that. People don't understand the even as a priestess now, she's a mambo. There's going to be times where she's called to step forward where there will be no money. They won't be able to afford what she can do. And that's when you separate people that are just doing it for the money versus
Mhm.
people that actually have a true calling to do it. And that's what in any practice, we all have clients that we've dealt with on that. Now you wanted to ask her about her books, right?
I want to know when the next book is coming out, or if there is a next book.
There's always the next book.
Mhm.
Getting
Oh my God, girls. I knew whenever I got over here that y'all were going to ask that.
Well, I so happened to get one of your older books, but I guess it was before you self-published it. I guess it was when you were hand coiling them.
Yes.
And I so happened to find one of the hand coiled books from you. Money Conjure.
book.
Okay.
Mhm.
So, and I've been keeping this under my hat. Huh. I
Where does
have
go?
I have a new book. I signed the contract back in August, I think, with Weiser. The book is finished, and y'all know I don't say anything until it's done. And I was going to call the book Who Do Your Love, but somebody, and I don't know how, but somebody snatched that name. So it's simply going to be called I don't know what. But anyway, this book is not simply a book about love work. Yes, it does have that type of work. It has some of the old works that I was first taught as a young worker. Okay. But this book also teaches about self love, about healing a broken heart, about building your self esteem. So it's a variety of anything dealing with love. So yes, I don't know
That
when
is,
it's going to publish it, but it's finished.
it needs to be out soon. I mean, I think that's going to be great because when you get love books, it really is about love spells, how to make people fall in love with you, but it doesn't have too many self-love things
I
Right.
in
mean,
there and how to build your
don't
self-esteem.
get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I tried to share. I'm getting older, y'all, and I'm realizing that the older I get, some things I forget about because I don't necessarily teach them because it's things that folks nowadays won't understand. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Um, because it's not of today's, world. I come up in the 60s, the 70s, you know, and up in there, and things were different back then, where you could get a gallon of milk for a quarter. Things were different. And so I didn't want to just write a book about making somebody love you, and because you have to love yourself before you can find true love.
Absolutely.
If you don't love yourself, and if you don't have that self-esteem, and you don't think more highly of yourself than you do other people, then you are going to fall into the trap, and most of the time you're miserable, you know? So you have to love yourself first. So yes, it does have love work in it. It's got command and domination. All of these works are in there. Shut your mouth, healing a broken heart. You know, it has a variety of stuff in it. Um, so it's not just about making somebody love you or pulling somebody back, or making somebody bend over to whatever it is you want to do. It's not that type of book.
I think it's important because you get so much with people nowadays that fight against the self love.
Yeah,
Are y'all getting the feedback too?
yeah, I am.
I'm not, so let me see if I mute.
It's not you. It actually,
I don't hear it now.
Yeah, I don't
yeah,
hear it
it
now.
yeah, it kind of came in, went out. Look at that. They messing with your book. They don't want us to hear the information about it.
Yes,
Dirty.
it
But
is
you know
going to
what?
be
That's
a,
right.
it
I,
is going to be a good book, you know, and
I absolutely agree with you because people tend to lose themselves because they love other people and not themselves, and they get lost. And then when the relationship breaks up, they don't even know who the hell they are.
no, they don't. And uh, yeah, I hear it again now.
I can hear you.
You muted, Mama. Can't hear you.
I know, but I'm wondering if the feedback is because of me. So I muted myself.
No,
Oh,
it's not because of you.
Okay.
so the thing is that In order to love someone, you got to love yourself first. My mother taught us that as children. Okay. She made sure that we knew how important we were as people, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And when I think about her now, I think about how tricky she was. She really was a tricky old root woman. She made each, if you talk to all six of us, we would all say that we were our mother's favorite.
Mm-hmm.
She made everybody feel like they were her favorite. You know, if you ask my two brothers, they're going to tell you, oh, I was my mama's favorite. No, I was my mama's. No, I was. Because she made us feel that way. She made us feel like we were important, like there was nothing that we could not do. And I tried to put that in this book because there's so many people that have a hard time in life and they don't know how to get back on their feet. They don't know how to fix themselves, you know?
They don't know how to love themselves.
Exactly.
Well, I think, a lot of the time people feel that love has to come from an external source. And like whenever you look at things, it's always people getting love from an external source. It's very rare that you see people saying, okay, love is affiliated with you and it's a you thing.
Well, I
So I
love myself. I'm not going to lie. I love myself. I know what I can do. I know what I can't do. I know my faults. I know my bitchiness. I know myself. And in order to love yourself, you have to look at all the problems and the issues. They can't all be someone else's fault. And I'm talking about this from experience. And I don't talk about this, y'all, ever. But I'm just going to put it out here. In order to walk in somebody's shoes, you got to know what that walk is about. You understand? In order to understand somebody that's drugged down, you have to have been drugged down your own self. In order to understand what it is to have a broken heart, your heart has to have been broken at one time or another. I've been there, baby. The Star Casas you see now ain't the Star Casas my husband married. I have him to thank for this powerful woman that some folks can't stand, but I don't care. I worked hard to get here. Let me tell you about the old Star Casas. I was a battered woman at 17 years old. I was almost killed 3 times by a man that claimed to love me. So you don't tell me nothing about what it's like to be knocked down and not have anything. I don't talk about it because that's not me no more. He didn't do that to me. I let him do that shit to me. I let him do it. You understand? You have to take responsibility for your actions, your own actions. I could have left anytime I wanted to, but I let him ruin my self esteem. I had none. I had none. I was like a mouse. Never again. Never again. When God put my husband in my path, and I've said this 100 times, and Tanya, I've said it right in front of him. I couldn't stand his ass. But
No.
that night, sitting there talking to my sister, spirit just got on me, and I told my baby sister, I said, I'm going to end up marrying him. And here I am, going on 42 years later, and I'm still with him. Has it all been perfect? No, it hasn't. Has there been upset? Yes, it has been. but I'm still,
He was spirit sent.
yes,
You were hearing the name before you met him.
that is true, Lena. See, Lena been knowing me a long time, and I stay the same. I don't think I ever changed, not really. So when I was going through all this abuse and all this going on, I started dreaming about the Indian Geronimo. And I even had a photo of him that sat across on the wall, and I'd look at that photo when things was not going right. Um, and then guess what? I married Geronimo. And I don't know that I believe in soulmates and all that. I don't know. I wasn't raised on that. I didn't grow up with that kind of thinking. But I do know that spirit sent him to me, and I do know that he saved my life. You see, whenever I left and got out of that other relationship, I stayed in the house for a whole year. I don't talk about this. I'm simply talking about this because this is what really brought a lot of the works about that are in that book. A whole year, I wouldn't go anywhere, nowhere. I didn't want to see nobody. I stayed in my mama's house. I might go to the store with her, and then I was right back in the house. And my mama got tired. So the night that I met my husband, my mama forced me to go with my little sister. And then here we are, 42 years later.
But what was his perspective? Did he know that he was going to marry you? I'm curious.
He thought that he was the shit. He thought that he had long hair. He was really beautiful, but he was cocky. And so with my experience with the only other man that I had ever been with was not a good one. I was not going to be treated like that. And I look back on it now, and it was me. It really wasn't him. He was just trying to be nice. Do you want something to drink? No. Do you want something to eat? No. And finally I told him, because my mama had put $10, I told him if I want something to eat, if I want something to drink, I have money. I can buy my own stuff. I don't want anything from you. My little sister, I remember her saying, "Don't be rude." I wasn't being rude. I just wasn't interested. Until that minute that spirit just came and sat down and was like, you're going to marry him. And here we are. Here we are.
Did you laugh, though? The question is if you were like, nope, you're wrong. Nope, I'm not listening. It doesn't resonate.
Baby, I think at that time, my mind was still so messed up. I don't even think I second guessed it. I really don't think that I second guessed it at all. At all. And I really was mousy, and it was really bad. And he talks about it every once in a while. He'll bring it up. And it was so bad I would starch and iron his socks, his underwear, his t-shirts, the sheets on the damn bed. It was ridiculous, y'all. I remember one time he came home and I was on my hands and knees on the floor and I was scrubbing the floor. And I remember feeling somebody staring at me, and I was the only one at the house, and I turned around and looked, and he was standing there just looking at me I guess he had never seen me do it before, looking at me with this look on his face, and he was like, "What in the hell are you doing?" I said, I'm cleaning the floor. He said, no, you don't get on your hands and knees to clean nothing. He said, get up. And so that was the end of scrubbing the floor, you know. And then he was like, you're not starching and ironing, nothing else. Nothing else. I would starch his blue jeans so stiff, they'd stand up on their own. And anybody that knows my husband knows I'm telling the truth. He's like, you're not doing nothing else. You're done with all of this. You see, we would get into an argument and I would be terrified because I didn't know what he was going to do. You see? And I would just stand there. I guess he says I was shaking. He still talks about it sometimes because he'll tell me, sometimes you make me wish you was back to that old girl again. And then he'll start laughing and he'll be like, no, I don't want you to ever be like that again. But yeah.
Oh my God. He don't want you to go back. No. I mean, y'all literally are the best thing for each other. Y'all really are.
You got plenty other surprises for him. Walking into the kitchen, seeing big old black candles.
Yeah. Yeah. So so I know all about it, you know, and this is what I tried to put in the book to help other women heal. And you know, I've been asked this when folks find out. I don't hardly ever talk about it anymore. But when folks find out what I went through, they were like, well, why didn't you just leave? It's not that simple, y'all. It's not that simple. Because you have no self-esteem. You just feel like that's what you got and that's what you deal with. And then when you have kids, then there's the kids.
You lose yourself.
Yes. So there's no getting out, you know. And the reason that I left, and I'll tell this, I don't care. The reason that I left was the last beating that he gave me, he hit me in the head with a hammer. He could have killed me. I don't know what God was saving me for. This, I guess. But my daughter was a little baby and she was just starting to talk real good. And the next morning, he was like, Mama, I don't want to stay here no more. I'm scared and I want to leave. And that's all it took. It took that for me to leave. And I left and I've never laid eyes on him again.
You know what? But I'm happy for that. And I'm happy that you had someone, you know, like even though you were healing yourself, but also had someone that helped facilitate that healing. Because to me, in order to help someone heal, you have to be willing to heal yourself. But also, you know, it doesn't mean you're perfect.
No.
But it means that you can respect where someone has been. And so I appreciate you putting that experience in your book, because a lot of the times, you know, we as practitioners, we just want to teach, but we don't let people know our story so they can't relate to us. Instead, we're like, just trust. But when people hear your story and they know where you've been, then they can relate and they're like, okay, this person really gets it. And I think that's important. It's really important. So I appreciate that, you know, you letting us in on that backstory, you know, for your book.
Yeah, because I don't tell it, but I guess everybody's going to hear it now. But, you know.
But I think it'll help a lot of people, because people, you know, sometimes people don't realize the things that you do go through that you can relate to. So I think it'll help. And even with the book, like you said, putting something in there with self-love is going to be valuable. We all are diviners. We're readers, and we've all had that client that was in that abusive relationship that didn't know how to leave. And I think sometimes, like you said, you can connect with that and say, look, you can, because I did it.
Yeah.
And so I'm proud of you for putting it out there. I think the love book, even just for the self-love part, is going to be valuable for a lot of people.
Yeah, because, I mean, you're talking about loving yourself, but your mom was there for you. And your mom, each one of you feel like you were her favorite. So it'll help moms out there to strive to be a better mother.
Yeah.
I sometimes wonder if the trick that your mom did was like just accepting you all for who you were and speaking to you each on that level and not saying, maybe you should be this way. Just instead just saying, okay, you're good the way you are, and just kind of nurturing
Yeah.
that part of you that was just you.
She always told us that we can be whatever we want to be, that the only thing that could stop us is us. And whenever I teach, I try to teach my kids that nothing can stop you but you. If it's a mountain in front of you, go over it, under it, around it, through it, but get it done. Figure a way out to get through whatever it is that you're going through. You know?
Yeah. Well, she sounded, like a very strong person.
Everybody loved my mother. My mother did not meet a stranger. Her door was always open, and that's kind of like how it is now. Here, everybody is welcome here. On Thanksgiving, we have open house, which means I don't say, well, we're having 15 people coming and that's all the food I'm cooking. No, the doors are always open. My kids have always been able to bring people in here. Family members have always been able to bring people that have nowhere else to go. Y'all, that is truly the way old workers do. They took care of their community. The community is not just your family, it's people that you don't even know. My only rule here is that you have to be sent here by somebody that knows me, that I've worked for. Word of mouth only. Ain't no sign hung out here on my fence. And the other night, I got to tell you, this was so cute. The other night, I was sitting in there with Chuck, and we were just chatting and talking, and all of a sudden, this photo come through on my phone, and I was like, "What the hell is that?" I did it, and I got the message, and I opened it up, and it was a damn sweet potato pie sitting on my car seat. I hadn't locked my car, sitting on my car seat, and then there was a message. There's 2 plates for y'all on the bumper of the truck. This is what community is about. You see? It ain't always about the damn money.
And they feed you good.
They do. I get good food. Girl,
I see some of those plates. I'm like, oh my God, they feeding her good.
Oh, that was some rice and gravy and I didn't get to eat the pork because it makes my feet swell up. But it was some rice and gravy with some pork meat so tender it just fell apart. It was delicious. And then,
I can't wait for this to be over so we can all go back to Mama Rita's.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yes.
Good food, just like that. Good food.
Yes.
So it ain't always about what your community can do for you. It's what you can do for your community. What you're supposed to be doing. And y'all, when I first got online in 2005 or 4, somewhere around there, I don't remember exactly. I was so damn naive. I really was. Because I had never been thrown at. I had never had a worker come at me. I had never known backstabbing, two-faced people. And so that was a great big adjustment for me. There's other workers that live in my community. Some of them I'm friends with. They're not online, but they're there. We don't throw at each other. We don't talk about each other. We don't be ugly to each other. That's only an online thing. The real world ain't like that.
It's sad but true. You're right.
So being online has taught me some things. I'm naturally a person that stays to themselves. naturally. That's just me. That's how I am. Just like y'all see me online, I don't hobnob with people. Ain't nobody built me up. Ain't nobody done shit for me but Starr Casas. You know, I've struggled, I've dug, I've pulled, I've done. Do I support my community? I do try to. I do try to. I don't do events with people unless it's my own event. You know, if I'm giving the event and there's people that come to that event, yeah, when I travel alone. And Tanya knows that, and Lena both know that because they've both gone with me. Because I'm simply going to answer for myself. I'm not answering for nobody else. I'm responsible for what I do, for my actions. So I'm solo, you know. Yeah, I know a lot of people. I do know. I met a lot of wonderful people.
Mm-hmm.
And I met some that I wouldn't piss on if they was on fire. You know, I'm just saying. You
But
know,
you hit it on the head, Mama, because you're right. I think a lot of people, when you listen to or you hear people say spiritual community,
it's not.
and it's not, versus like you said, people that are in your immediate community where you are active, where you are doing things, where you are helping the homeless, where you are feeding people that don't have food. That is a lot of the way of a worker. When
Yep.
you go online and you see all this gossip and this witch hunt and things
Yeah,
like
I
that,
can.
you see the clicks, and it kind of goes against, it's conflicted. You want to say spiritual community, but you have these cliques within this community that have nothing to do with spirit. So I
Yep.
think we're learning, as even with as new workers, that sometimes you have to kind of take a step back from the group or from these cliques and function as a solo practitioner so that you can learn and grow. You get to pick and choose who you want to work with, and I think that's the most important thing. You can, with that, what is that saying? All money ain't good money.
No, no, no. And you know, I hit the refund button quick. I don't need your damn money. I have a husband to support me. I'm not doing this work for support. Yes, I get paid for my work because I work hard for my people. Yes. And there has to be some kind of exchange, but it ain't always dollars. It might be a rooster, it might be a dog, it might be a plate of food, it might be anything. Whatever you have that you can give, you know. And Lena's been knowing me a really long time, 20 some years. I don't do
Yeah.
clicks. Even in my personal life, I don't do clicks. I just don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe it. I just don't believe in it. I make my own decisions and my own choices about what I'm going to do and what I'm not going to do. I don't.
That's that Leo in you.
I don't really hang out. I hang out with my kids, but I don't really hang out with
Mm.
people. I just don't. I never have really. You know, I have a friend, and we've been friends since I was 12 years old. That's my best friend. I don't care how long we're apart. That is truly my best friend. If I click with her. You know, I
I,
don't do clicks.
I remember meeting you the first time, and you were like just raw. You was like, either I like you or I don't fuck with you.
That's right.
It was clear. It was clear cut. It was like either we gonna be cool or we not gonna be cool. There was no fluff in it, and I love that because I was like, this is somebody who's very direct. You
Yep.
never guess. You never have to guess where you stand in
Yep.
her life. Now we know you just got initiated into 21 divisions. You became a mambo. Tell
Baby.
us about that journey. Because there was a
Ooh,
time when you
Lord.
were kind
Yes.
of like, I ain't gonna get initiated, I ain't gonna do it. And then next thing I know, you was on the road.
Sister. Oh my God. Let me tell y'all one thing. So, you know, all these years, I truly am. a old root woman. And even though I'm initiated in 21 divisions, that was for personal choices for me, because it's similar to what I already do, the old timey conjure work that I write about in the love book. I put some really old work in there, y'all, that you're not going to find online. You're not going to find it anywhere unless you're sitting down talking to some elder that's at least my age or older. But anyway, when I decided something happened, and I had already been studying the 21 divisions with my godfather, Pep Hecker, for almost a year. And I was still on the fence. And then something happened, and I was like, I'm going to get initiated. And so I told Papa Hector, I said, I want to get initiated. And he was like, are you sure? And I was like, yeah. So he came here and he initiated me here in my prayer house. And so then I was like, maybe that's all I need to do. And so I kept studying. And then something else happened. And so I told Papa Hector, I said, I'm going to go ahead and do the last initiation if you feel like, that's what I'm supposed to do. Mm-hmm. And so I did. I'm still in my taboo period. I got initiated the week after the grand opening of the store, which I don't really remember. I only remember little bits and pieces of the initiation. And when I really try to think about it and think what happened, I get bad headaches. So I'm not even trying no more. It is whatever it is. Spirit knows what happened, knows what did and what didn't do. But I feel kind of I'm getting settled in with my spirit. But the thing is that the way that I've worked since I was 17 years old, I now have to learn a new way of working, which it's a little hard. I'm not even gonna lie about it. I'm not gonna lie. I got my cha-cha and my bell, and I think I can say that. He told me, that you can't really talk about it, but I can talk about that, I'm pretty sure. And that is a lot of the way I was taught to call spirit. I was taught. He's okay, baby. He's just out there. I'll bring him in when I come in. Cochise is outside, y'all. I was taught when you call spirit, you stomp your left foot. That pulls spirit in, right? And then when it's a release, you clap and say some stuff. Well, I'm now having to learn how to use the cha-cha and the bell. So, and I'm having to learn prayers and stuff that I didn't have to do before, right? So it's a big difference for me. It's a big difference. And I'm trying to, change the way, and do it the right way, because when I made that decision, I didn't make that decision to do it half-ass. I don't look at myself any different. I feel different, but I still see myself as me. I I got a long way to go, a lot to learn, a lot to work. And y'all, when you've done something since you were young and you're going on 70, it's kind of hard to change because I've prayed the same way every day. I've done work the same way every day. I've done things the same way every day. And now I've got to learn a new way. So it's an adjustment for me.
Not saying the way you did it before though was wrong. It's
Oh
just
no.
it's just different.
No, the way I was taught to work as a conjure worker and the way my mother taught me to pray and all of that, no, that is what I was supposed to be doing. But even though there's similarities between old conjure and 21 divisions, there's
It's just
different ways. I'm still working with the prophet Elijah. I'm still working with Saint Martha. I'm still working with the spirits that I've always worked with. I'm still working with Saint Peter. It's just that's why I feel comfortable within the 21 divisions because these are spirits that I've always worked with, but now it's in a different.
right. Like a Baptist and a Catholic. It's still God, it's still Jesus. It's just you
Yeah.
do things different.
There's way different ways of doing it. Yeah, I think. Does that make sense?
A lot more prayers, I can tell you that.
Yes, sister. Yes. Yes. Yes, Lord.
But it's worth it. You know what, Mama? Somebody told me a while ago that if it was easy, everybody would do it, and I don't think that's just initiations. I think that's with anybody who practices,
Yeah.
because you
Anything.
literally are gaining knowledge, you're growing in knowledge, you're expanding, and that's supposed to be uncomfortable at
Yeah.
points
Yeah.
because that's part of the growth. If it was a cakewalk, everybody would be out here just like when we went through that phase a couple of years ago where everybody was like, I'm awakened, my third eye's awakened, everybody was awakened, and nobody was awakened.
Everybody's awakened and
You know,
nobody's woke.
Yeah.
everybody was a witch and everybody was burning sage and smudging everything
Mm.
online, and nobody knew the proper way to do it. It was a fad.
Yeah.
And there's a difference between practicing a fad and actually practicing traditions and
Yeah.
learning things. And that's across the board with anything that you go into.
Yeah.
So I think the beauty of it is we bring a certain wisdom, but there's always more to learn.
Woo.
And that's the fun part, though. That I think that's the fun part is that you can never really run out of things to learn when you're a
Never.
practitioner. But I feel like, even now, though, what we do is a fad. Like we still have people, oh, okay, we're going to smudge, or now we're charging the crystals. And there's a lot of people who think, okay, this, celebrity is an ATR. We want to do that now. But then when they see the work and the amount of things that go into it, then they're like, oh, we don't know about that.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
absolutely.
Like 5 years ago, everybody was doing Kabbalah.
Oh, yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, I didn't go into this initiation. Uh, I just might as well say it. I have fought it forever. I feel like, you know, but I do believe that when spirit intends for you to do something, and they really intend for you
Yes.
to do it, they are going to make things happen that is going to make you do it. You know, I don't take this lightly. I take this very seriously because it was a huge step for
It's a
me.
lifetime commitment.
Yes. And
You literally,
I was already committed to my spirits already.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's like you're really committed, you know. you really you took that initiation, and so you are on it. It don't matter if you don't want to learn nothing new. You're gonna learn it. You gotta learn it. You gave your word. You're gonna learn it. You know.
What is that saying? If you really want, I forgot how it goes, but it's something like if you really want to see something happen, tell spirit you're not going to do it.
Yep.
Tell
Yep.
spirits you're not going to do it. Remember, and I was like, I'm not going to teach. I'm never going to teach or whatever. And then you called me up one day and you were like, guess what? You going to Omaha and you teaching a voodoo class. And I was
Yep.
like, what?
Yep.
Woo.
Yep.
I was like, no, I'm not. And you were like, yes, you are.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen many of your nevers come true,
Oh
Tanya.
my God, all my nevers are coming true. I'm just learning now to keep my mouth shut. I'm just learning to keep it shut at this point.
Yeah,
But
because I said I was never going to get initiated, and look at here, baby.
you sure, and
Here I am.
I was like, and I remember that too. You were like, nope, ain't me gonna do it. But you know what? I think, like you said, when spirit calls you, they call you for a reason. Whatever direction that you end up going into, I think where a lot of people don't realize whether you're a root worker, conjure woman, or you get initiated into any ATRs or any practices, there's a lifetime commitment to it.
Yes.
This is not something that you take off at the end of the day and you put it on the shelf. This is a way of life for a
Yep.
lot of people.
Yep.
A lot of people. And I
Yeah.
appreciate that you continue to share wisdom because here's the thing, we are living in an age where we have a lot of elders that are dying with knowledge.
Yep.
They're not sharing it. They're not writing the books. They're not sharing it with their god kids. They're not putting things out there. So you're having a lot of things that are lost because
Yep.
people are not able. Was it Jushishi that talked about the Native American man that he was the only one? I'm gonna let you tell the story because I can't remember exactly how it went.
There's a guy that walks around and he actually visits spots where the language is dying, and there was a Native American man who was the last speaker of his language, and this guy spent like 3 to 5 years learning this language from this guy, so when he died the language wasn't gone, that there was still record of the language, because of a lot of the younger people didn't want to learn that old language, and he was the last one that knew.
Yeah, I think that's why elders are so important in the community because we do need that knowledge. We need that wisdom, and I think the people that are really serious about it will connect with that wisdom.
Mm-hmm. I
You
think
know,
you have to want it though. I think like sometimes
yeah,
we've gotten to a point to where like we as younger people sometimes, and I mean I'm like middle age, but like younger people and elders, they have such a disconnect with communicating with each other because we're so busy doing everything else that it's just that they don't talk.
yeah. Or you have young people who want to do things the way that they want to do, which there's nothing wrong with bringing something new and fresh to a tradition or working. But Mama Star has been in this over 40 years. So when she says, I advise you not to do that, I listen. Because there's a reason that she's telling me I wouldn't do that. Remember, Mama, when I got mad at my ex-husband and I was like, I'm going to bury his ass in the graveyard.
I remember that. I
And you
remember
was like, she was so calm. She was like, baby, I don't know if you want to do that.
that.
And she really, it was the look of concern. She didn't even say anything else. It was the look of concern on her face that made me think, you know what, maybe I don't really want to bury him in the graveyard right now. I had to take a step back. And that's
At
what
this
I love
moment.
about Mama. Mama will give you a look or she will cock her head to the side. And that's the lesson. That's the lesson. She don't have to go into it. And sometimes you'll be over there talking to her and she'll give you 3 lessons in a row in a conversation. And I'm like, I got to get my notebook. I got to go grab my notebook because she'll just be sharing stories, but the stories will be work. And
Because
that's how elders teach.
that's how I was taught. Anybody that's ever taken any of my classes, I tell stories because that's the way I was taught, because you remember the work through the stories.
Mhm.
Even the books I write, I tell stories. And folks get mad at me and upset and talk shit about me because I share so much of the old work. First of all, that's all I know. That's what I work for my clients. That's all I know. Um, but the thing is that as the elders are getting older and I'm getting older, if I don't share these works, how y'all gonna know about them? What's
Mm-hmm.
gonna happen to them? My kids ain't gonna follow through with this. I can tell y'all that right now. None of my kids, they see what I go through. None of my kids are going to do any of this. Yes, they know the work. Yes, they do. They're not telling it. They do stuff for their families, they do stuff for their friends, but there's no way they're going to be out in the public and be doing this. So if I don't write about it, then it dies off with me like it died off with my elders.
Mm-hmm.
Then what's going to happen to the work? You see, folks try to make it seem, and I'm just speaking for me, that this is all about me. This is about me writing books. This is about me being famous. I don't give two shits in a handbasket about being famous. I'm already famous in my community. I don't need to do anything else. Everybody here knows me. This is about the ancestors. If we don't speak about what went on during the times of slavery, and all the works that I share are works that have been passed down for generations and generations, then you forget. Folks forget what happened and why this work came about. And Lena will tell you, yeah, I teach the Conjure Academy. I sure do. And yes, I charge you $100 a lesson. I sure do. You know why? Because I'm not giving this work away for free. And the first two modules ain't nothing but about slavery and the ancestors. If you can't sit through them two modules, adios. Sorry for your luck.
Ooh, I'm laughing because I've had people.
You got to know where it comes from in order to appreciate it.
That's true. I'm laughing because I've sent people and they couldn't get past the first two modules. They couldn't. They were like, I just nope, I can't do it. I
Because
cannot
they don't
do
want
it.
to hear the truth.
Yeah.
And I don't care what else you say about me. Hey, I'm not going to not tell the truth about how this work came about. I've been called a racist by white people. Well, okay. But if you're going to learn from me, you're going to learn this. So, yes, the first two modules are hard. And yes, I cut it to the bone. I sure do. And yes, I lose a lot of students. I sure do. You must not want to know the work then.
How do you feel about it? Because I know you do get called a racist quite a bit, and it's really on both sides. How do you feel about Black people that say you shouldn't talk about the ancestors? I never get it because we all have ancestors. I don't give a crap who you are. You connect with your ancestors, but how do you feel about that?
To be truthful and honest, sister, whenever that started a few years ago, I was hurt and I literally cried. And my daughter, being my daughter, Trisha, she was like, Mama, are you doing this for the people that are calling you a racist, or are you doing this for your mama, your granddaddy, and the ancestors? Baby, I'm sorry. I'm going to I'm going to uplift the ancestors, and I don't care. I don't care. I'm not racist. I have all different kinds of folks in my family. I have all different kinds of folks in my bloodline. But what I'm not going to do, because to ignore slavery and to ignore the death and the destruction and the killing and the just the
Horrible
horrible,
movement.
I can't even find the words to even say it, is a disservice to every elder, every ancestor that died. It's disrespectful. And to be truthful, I don't get two shits what people think. You can call me a racist. I'm still going to preach the same old thing that I was raised up on by my mama. I'm going to still talk it, take it or leave it. You don't feed me. You don't do none of the three F's with me. So I'm not worried about it.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. What's the third one? Because I thought it was you don't
Finance, feed,
feed,
fuck.
fuck me, or pay my bills. So
Yes.
what's the third
It's
one?
feeding, finance, fucking.
Oh, okay. So finance instead of paying my bills. All right. I got you.
I was like, there's three F's.
Break it down. Break it down for me.
Thank you, Shishi. Yeah, so, in this day and age, folks don't know their history. I was raised on not ever forgetting the past. My mama made sure that we knew about it. That's why I know so much old works. That's why I know so much of the history, because I was raised on it. I was raised on the stories. And to forget that, I don't understand how people can forget it. How can you say, "Oh, that was way back then," you know, and it shouldn't be talked about? Hell yeah, it should be talked about.
It still exists today.
Yes, it does.
It still
Yes, it
exists.
does.
I mean, it's a whole different outfit on it and different, you can put a different spin on it, but it still exists today.
They
So I
changed
think
the clothes, sister, but underneath the skin is still the same.
exactly. A lot of people don't realize conjure and root work didn't come about because, oh, my man left me for Sally Sue
No,
around the corner.
no, it didn't.
Conjure and this came about of oppression. People got
Yes,
tired of having their babies snatched away from them.
yes,
They got tired of seeing their family members tortured. So
yep,
that is where the dedication and the passion of the work come from.
yes,
Nowadays, you got people that want to do bullshit stuff with it, and I get it because we live in a bullshit society. But like you say, we cannot remember or forget what the foundation of it is,
yes.
because oppression
Because
still exists.
to
It does.
forget it, sister, is, and when I wrote the Old Style Conjure book, the first book that Weiser published for me, I prayed on it and I was like, I'm just gonna tell it like it is. If they don't like the book, they can burn that damn thing, because I don't care. I'm just gonna be blunt and to the point and just say it like it is. And I did, and I got a lot of backlash. You're racist, you this, you that. Baby, I don't care what you call me. I'm like my husband. As long as you call me for dinner, I don't care what you call me. You know. But I'm still going to continue to uplift the ancestors. I'm still going to continue to talk about slavery. And if you get in that Conjure Academy, you better have some tough skin, because I go in and I go in hard.
I
You
think
know,
sorry.
no, go ahead, Shishi.
I think the awkward part is that people really get offended by the origins of things. And a lot of the origins of most practices isn't friendly. So
No,
you have to look
Yeah.
at what the pain and all the suffering that people went through, which is why we have what we have. But a lot of people, I think they want to gloss it over. They want to believe that it came from hopes and dreams and unicorn shits. And it didn't. And I think it also makes people uncomfortable, which brings up the, topic that these have to be things that people talk about. But I think, it's not the fact that, perhaps that it's being brought up. It's the fact that people are just uncomfortable with the realization of how it came about.
But the realization of how it came about is the foundation of this work, and that foundation is torture, bloodshed, bones, pure savageness. It's what this work was built on.
But people, when you become a practitioner, and I know I talked to my cousin about this, I've talked to Tanya, even Lena about it. When you become a practitioner, it forces you to have to look at yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And people don't want to look at themselves, even though, the basis may be, you bringing up all that slavery and the oppression and the pain. It still forces everyone to look at themselves. And that may be more so the issue than perhaps the information given, is my take.
I understand what you're saying, but if you don't understand where the work comes from, how it came about, why it even began, then how can you honor those ancestors that suffered and died and went through so much horrible things that you can't even imagine? How can you honor them? They don't want lip service. They don't want lip service. They want you to realize what they went through. I would. Anybody can light a candle and say, "Oh, glory be to God. I bless the ancestors of this work." Boom. No, hell no. Let's say some prayers.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do some apologizing. Huh?
Well, that goes back to what Tanya said, though. People use it for bullshit reasons. They didn't expect it to be as deep as what it is.
If you mess with me, baby, it's deep.
I feel like people get offended too because it's their own guilty conscience that's bothering them.
It could be, because here's the thing. We still carry trauma from that.
Yes.
We do, because there's certain movies I cannot, to this day, I cannot look at, because there's still a deep-rooted pain that is there that has never been fixed. And you can't forget that, because to forget that, it would be gone. If I didn't feel moved by a movie or a rape scene, or where somebody is tied to a tree and an animal is splitting them, I can understand why a woman would do root work to keep her child with her.
Yes.
I can understand why a man would do root work to keep his family together. That's the foundation of the work. And when you do the work, you have to have that passion and that focus. And you have to go back.
If it's not brought to your attention, then it doesn't mean anything. My husband, bless his heart, he really didn't understand, not really. I mean, not how deep the pain and how deep the abuse was of slavery until he watched Root. I was in the kitchen and I heard him cussing and raising hell. I thought he was on the phone. He was cussing at the TV. I was like, babe. He was like, that's some bullshit. He sat there and watched that whole thing. It was sad. And in some spots, I caught him with tears in his eyes. When he finished that, he was like, babe, I had no idea. I had no idea. That's the problem. People don't have an idea because history has sugar-coated everything. You see? If you don't have an idea, then why you practicing a practice that you don't know the history of, that you don't know how this came about? Why are you doing it?
I think that's why elders are important.
Money? Huh?
Well, for some people, yeah. For some people, yeah, you don't have a background with it. But that's why elders are important. Now, Mama, I know we're coming up on hour 30, and I know it's cold outside.
Lord.
Or
Oh,
really, so, I mean, is there anything you want to say to close off? Because I don't want you out there getting sick, not in the COVID environment.
yeah, I know my nose is cold. No,
Yeah.
I just want folks to, and this is kind of why I've always been an outsider in this online community. You notice, and sometimes I felt like a stepchild that was left out. You know, don't get invited to go do things and don't. But in the end, I'm grateful. Because I don't think that I really want to. Because I think some folks don't care how this work came about. They could give two shits how this work came about. They don't want to hear about it. They don't want to know about it. And I've seen this with the Conjure Academy. They just don't care. Well, when you don't care about the people that have brought forth something, whatever it is, then you shouldn't be doing that. You need to step away from it. Put your bullshit up and go find you something else to do that you're comfortable with. You know, this has to be a way of life. It can't be something that you do every once in a while when you go teach a class or you go do this or you go do that. My kids that have come to my house, they know I live this. This is my whole life. I don't have a little corner where I'm like, oh, well, let me do some roots today. The whole thing is nothing but a working space. If you're going to do something, no matter what it is, learn the foundation of what you're doing. That's like the 21 divisions. I'm new to this. I got a whole lot of learning that I got to do. I got a whole lot. But I'm going to take the time to learn about it because it was important enough for me to be initiated in, for me to take that step. I'm going to have to learn as much as I possibly can about it. You can't have the sweet and sugary without looking at the turmoil, the trauma, the drama, the hurt, the bloodshed that goes along with conjure work. You got to have it all. You got to look at it all. You got to face it all. If you're going to be true, to the work, And I'm sure I'm going to hear about this conversation, and I really don't give a flying flip. I don't care. I really don't care. The ancestors and my mama and my granddaddy and my great grandma are more important to me than any opinion of anybody on the internet. And I'm going to continue to push, and I'm going to continue to talk. And I don't know about writing, but I may have one more book in me. And I'm going to continue to push forward where folks don't abuse this work and actually know where it comes from.
Thank you
I
so
appreciate
much.
that.
Yes, thank you so much, Mama. Now, Mama, if they want to book a reading with you or buy products with you, where can they find you?
They can go to oldstyleconjure.com, and I think I have a reading page on Conjure New Orleans. And I'm going to be working on the website for Mama Star Style, but I got to get through my taboos first before I have to finish this. And so you can find me on Facebook. I'll be around like a
Well,
bad like a bad penny just keeps showing up.
oh my God, you know I love you to death.
I
I'm
love
so
y'all
happy.
too.
I'm so happy for you, and I wish you nothing but success. Please go
Thank
in the
you.
house and warm up, because if you get sick, I'm gonna feel horrible about this.
I gotta see about getting the dang internet to the prayer house. I don't know why it won't reach out there.
Maybe you need another modem,
I might.
Yeah.
I might have to get me another one.
another router. Yeah, look into it,
Yeah.
because we can't have you out there freezing.
And if
Well, thank
y'all in Houston, come see me at the store.
Yes. Are you
I,
open on Sundays?
What, baby?
Are you open on Sundays?
Yes. Well, the only day we're closed is on Monday.
Okay.
I won't be there this Sunday because I just feel like I need to kind of be closed off a little bit until my taboos are over. You know,
Okay.
I'm still fresh. You know, I mean, I'm still a little off. So, uh,
yeah.
Tanya
yeah,
Luther prayers
I won't
too.
be to the store this weekend, but I'll be there next week.
Okay. Well, I know where you are. I'll be stalking you.
Yeah, and you know where the house is.
I'll find you one way or another.
Yeah, I'll be around. I'm
All
And
trying
then
to
right.
get off the
you get in
habit.
there and do that cooking too.
Ooh, cooking.
Yeah, Lena, we need to do that canning thing that I said me, you, and sister was gonna do. And then
Yep.
COVID got up and we ain't done nothing. But I really do want to start that cooking thing where we
I
can do once a month do a YouTube, the three of us on cooking and praying over our food and putting our food together.
look.
Ooh,
If we have
nice.
to, we put buckets on our heads and wear a big old black trash bag and come over to teach how to cook.
I'm like, what?
I will see you doing that.
Yep. Hopefully this will be over soon, y'all. Y'all be
Yeah.
blessed and thank y'all for having me. I appreciate it.
Have a good night, Mama.
Have a
Okay,
good
thank
night.
you much. I
Good
love
night,
y'all.
everybody.
Love you too. Bye.
Bye.